Harold Landry Sunday. So it could also be that, this could be one of those, like with Luan in the knee, is that more like a precautionary thing? I mean, technically, he's coming off surgery still. So is that precautionary? Is Landry precautionary? And these are the questions we don't know, and Mike Vrabel won't tell us.
Yes, that is for sure. I agree with you. The most likely starting linebacker combo next year probably is Rice and David Long Jr. But it is interesting, if Jayon Brown is back and let's say he gets in there this week, I still love the idea of those two playing together. Like, based on injury, like I just don't know that Jayon Brown's going to be back next year. I mean, it just, obviously he looked to go get a deal in free agency this past offseason, and whatever he wanted was not there and not available, and he comes back to the Titans on a 1-year deal. I think it's pretty likely that both he and Evans are gone. That doesn't mean that right now the best option is Rice and Long. I still think the Jayon Brown, David Long Jr. option is there. And then, Rashaan Evans, obviously he is not in the good graces of Titans fans right now based on the way last year went and how some moments of this year has gone. I still believe that for this team this year, in certain matchups, there is quite the role for Rashaan Evans on this defense. He still has talent. I would put the chances of him being back here next year at almost 0 at this point, but it's not like you just completely phase him out of the defense either.
No, he's going to be important. I mean, look, he's made some mistakes this year. He's made some plays this year too. I mean, let's not forget he's made some plays. He has value for this defense, and yeah, he's part of a lot of names you could list that say, this particular team's going to look pretty different next year. And there's some, he's one of those guys that, yeah, maybe it's better to move on from ultimately, but a lot of that has to do with contract. Although I'll be very interested to see what the market really is for Evans and Brown. But a lot of guys who are on this team who may not be on it next year, which is why this team is one that you want to make a run with, even with Derrick Henry out, and of course you hope you can get him back. But that Rashaan Evans too. I mean, all of a sudden, if he's gone and Brown's gone, like again, I think that was an encouraging performance from Rice, but there's still a lot to find out about him. And then you're again back to, you got to find depth at that position. So now you do have some if they could actually ever get everybody fully healthy.
Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. JD texting in. What is the current Titans sack record? Jared A. Smith said yesterday that Landry would miss it by a lot. Joe's take had him barely missing it. I appreciate the Jared A. Smith. That was good stuff from JD there on the text line.
Yeah, I kind of like Skipman, which we haven't been using much lately, better, but I like Jared A. Smith. So the record is 15. Now the Titans record is 14.5. That's the freak. In 99, right? Yeah, his rookie year. Yeah. Who just completely changed the trajectory of that franchise, right? I mean, for all the other great things they had going, just having that guy on the edge was such a game changer for that defense. 15 is William Fuller with the Oilers in 91. Yeah, and I in one of my apparently homerific predictions, I said Landry will just miss. You said what? He's going to get 17, right?
He's getting 17.
Jared was like, he won't come close. He's like, he'll have like 11. And, hey, Jared may be right. He may get 2.5 sacks in the last 9 games. That's certainly possible. But I wouldn't feel great about that prediction. I mean, I feel like he's got a handful left, right, or so, 4 left in him. Yeah.
I got a texter that says ham virus sounds delicious.
Well, imagine a corned beef hash virus. Yes. Inject that in my veins.
Would you be immunized with a corned beef hash virus?
I'd be immunized against not loving food. That's right. Of course, if I did inject corned beef hash in my veins, I would literally die.
Yes, you would.
It would literally kill me, but it still sounds good.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Titans linebacker David Long Jr. That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Another chilly start this morning. Freeze warnings in effect with temperatures in the 30s and even 20s. Will be an overall warmer day with highs in the upper 50s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Titans fans are the greatest fans in all of sports, and BetMGM is celebrating them with a special offer on their favorite team. All you have to do is sign up with BetMGM using the code 1025game100 and make any $1 wager on the Titans game. Once the bet is placed, you'll receive $100 in free bets. It's that simple. That's it. That's all you have to do. Then check out fan-friendly promotions like special odds boosts, early cash-out offers, sweepstakes giveaways, and more. Download the app or go to betmgm.com. Use that code 1025game100 to receive $100 when you make any $1 bet on the Titans game. Titans fans, now you're winning with the king of sportsbooks. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets on site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Jared Stillman.
This show, if you're a listener to it, I think is educated enough to know what a good general manager is.
And Company.
At the end of the day, wins really are all that matter.
Tune in Stillman and Company for your drive home. Delivered by TriStar Moving. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Robby and Rexrode is on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee, scheduled to be joined shortly by Titans linebacker David Long Jr. So looking forward to that conversation coming up with him as the Titans take on the Rams coming up on Sunday Night Football on NBC coming up on Sunday night. Joe, a primetime matchup. Don't get to see the Titans a whole lot on Sunday Night Football. I'm looking forward to this one coming up on Sunday night.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I think, still a very attractive and interesting game. Obviously, it's tough for the Titans to not have 22, but it also makes for, the nation can watch how they adjust to that kind of earth-shaking loss 6 days later.
Yeah, certainly something to keep an eye on there. And if you look at, the Titans in this game, obviously outwardly the expectations have gone down, but this kind of also feels like a game that Mike Vrabel has been really good at over the years in terms of getting his team ready to go. And I expect the Titans are going to be ready to go in this game from LA.
Yeah, I mean, it's another I mean, in terms of stuff Vrabel likes to hear, he likes to hear people saying his team has no chance in this game or that game or this stretch or that stretch, and they seem to respond pretty well to that. So they've got that again. Although, actually,
right.
I do feel like, at least locally, and maybe it's just Homerville here, but there's more optimism than maybe you might think for this game. Because, honestly, I mean, had nothing happened with Derrick Henry, I think I'd probably pick him to lose this game. But I don't know.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Titans linebacker David Long Jr. David, what's going on, man? How we doing? Thanks for taking time to join us.
Yes, sir. No problem. I'm good. How are you?
We are doing great. We appreciate you joining us this morning. So what is the feeling like in the building this week? Obviously, a gut punch for you guys on Monday, losing number 22, Derrick Henry, and how good he's been so far this year. But you guys have been a resilient team dealing with injuries all season long. What's the feeling like in the building this week?
The feeling is the same. It's no chance. Of course, we're going to miss Derrick. But we've made some changes, and we're just ready to get back out there and playing ball. The feeling is, just keep focusing on the main thing, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, so Dave, and I know you guys have had so many injuries, David, and next man up, I mean, that term might be used more by your team this year than I can recall, just because of how many injuries you guys have had and how many different guys have had to step up in various spots and have, done the job. But just for you personally, I just curious when you found out, how you found out about Derrick and what your instant reaction was, keeping in mind this is a family show.
I mean, of course I was gutted by the loss. He means a big part of our team. But, I knew we had the mentality and the players around, that's just ready to step up and make plays.
David, as you look at your game personally so far this year, obviously, I mean, you've been all around the ball. You've been making plays left and right for this defense. How would you describe kind of your evolution in this league, and where do you think your game is right now?
I think it's getting better. Every week I'm just focusing on and getting better in every part of my game. But coming in the league, that's just been my focus. Just to take advantage of my opportunities. And when I get the chance to be out there, just to be the player that I know I am. So that's been my challenge to myself right now. Just staying consistent. Continue to get better, and just see where that takes me.
Well, David, one thing that was apparent in camp, and you talked about this during camp, was just I don't know if the term is more comfort or just more effectiveness in coverage. Like you said in the offseason, that was a focal point for you. Is when you're dropping just to be better and to just work hard on that. But it seems like everything has come together for you this year. So is that is that study? Is that physically, improving in some way? Or is it just the more snaps you get in game action, you just, like, the game slows down?
Right.
Like, how would you characterize your progress and how it has come about like this?
I would say, just my want to get better, taking the coach, has, and the guys here has been a big help. And, just me learning things that I wasn't learning in college or whatever it may be, just to elevate my game. And I just, took advantage as far as the snaps, and being out there. That played a big role in my development in my game. Just being out there more and everything slowing down and me just being more familiar with, different types of offenses and players. That all plays a big role in my development of my game. And, it's just year 3, and, people don't really get that. I've worked a lot hard, to get to this point. So I'm just going to take, full advantage and make sure, I'm getting better every week.
Well, a lot was made after the game, David, of course, Kevin's interception in Indy, which an adjustment you made on that play, I guess basically to force him to wait a little bit longer to throw it, right? And can you talk us through that play, what the communication was from Kevin, and then what you saw or adjusted on that play?
Well, I think it was a play action, and we teach a certain type of technique. And earlier in the game, I had missed it, but they didn't throw it. But this time it was the same thing, and this time I was on them, and I held on the under, and I made them throw it further than expected. And my boy KB went and made a big play for us. So that was just all about end game and adjustments, and making sure that I was on top of my game, and I ended up being there when it counted.
Titans linebacker David Long Jr. on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So, David, how do you put into words what Harold Landry has meant so far this year to your defense and the pressure that he's been able to generate on these quarterbacks?
He's been amazing. Making plays all over the field, forced fumbles, sacks, or whatever it may be. He's been a big part, of the defense this year. So, it's just good to see out there. Like everybody, making plays, and everybody, have that want to be better and want to win. It's just great to see.
So as you look at the Rams, David, obviously Matthew Stafford, huge pickup for them. We know that Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are having huge years. They have a lot of talent on offense. I feel like this week there hasn't been a ton of talk about their run game. You guys have been very good against the run. Haven't seen a ton of teams that emphasize it, but I feel like the Rams, they really get a lot out of a power run game that sets up play action. How do you – first of all, how important is that aspect of this matchup, and what's your just overall assessment of what you guys are facing Sunday night?
As far as the run game, they have a lot of weapons. As far as like on the outside and the run game, they have a good back. They have a good O line. The quarterback, of course. So as far as like our plan or whatever, it's just to go and continue to do what we've been doing. Take the coaching. Just going in this weekend. Just ready to play ball.
David, how important has Jim Schwartz been in terms of, bringing obviously a lot of experience to your defense, and obviously he's been a head coach and defensive coordinator in this league. What's it been like working with Jim Schwartz?
It's been good. I know he's been a big contributor to our team, our defense as well. He doesn't work specifically with any groups or whatever, but when I do talk to him, he's always available to talk, give me tips and stuff.
So this stretch, going into it, obviously it was like, wow, look at these 4 games for these guys. The Bills are maybe the AFC favorite. We know everybody knows what the Chiefs have done in this league. Huge divisional game, and now this one, Sunday Night Football, maybe a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC, in the place where the Super Bowl is going to be. You guys are 3-0. Is there any sense, David, of, I know you guys are trying to win every week and go 1-0 every week, and you're chasing a 1 seed, but is there any sense that, there's a little bit of a nothing to lose thing here, especially because you guys lost Derek and people maybe expect a big fall off from this team now?
No, not at all. I wouldn't say that at all.
David, as you look at this matchup coming up on Sunday against the Rams, what's the most important key defensively to slowing this team down, do you think?
I think, just going out there and playing defense like we've been playing, fast, physical, playing, great all-around smart game, So I think that's what we've been focusing on, continue to play our game like we've been doing, just continue to get better.
Titans linebacker David Long Jr. has been our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. David, we appreciate so much you taking time to join us this morning, and good luck coming up on Sunday against the Rams.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, David.
Absolutely. Titans linebacker David Long Jr., our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Going to be an interesting matchup coming up on Sunday night. As you pointed out, Joe, there's not a whole lot of people are going to give the Titans much of a chance to win this game, but I think it's pretty clear that's not the way they feel inside that building.
Yeah, and the nothing to lose thing. You don't expect them to look at it that way either, especially again with the fact that they're chasing things. But from the outside perspective, if they lose a competitive game Sunday, you could still look at the last month and say, man, that was impressive, and they're still in great shape to, win the AFC South and be right there in January. But, yeah, I suppose if you're inside the building and look at it that way, that's a pretty good way to grab an L.
That is a pretty good way to grab an L, and you got to deal with a cross-country fly. I'm very much looking forward to the game coming up on Sunday, obviously with the Titans and the Rams. I think I'm maybe looking forward to just as much Joe Rexrode Monday morning doing the show live from L.A. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, well, it will be a very good discussion about the game, folks. Last night there was a very good football game here in Los Angeles. Yeah, golf voice. How many hours of the show do I need to do golf voice if I'm at 4 a.m. in a hotel?
I say you just let it rip,
to not disrupt my neighbor. Yeah, you think so?
I agree.
Yeah, let it rip.
I mean, you can say that, but seriously, like, if someone calls the front desk to complain at like 4:15 in the morning, I mean, I could be kicked out of that place, man. I could be trying to do the show from my car on my phone. We don't want that.
The real question is, will you sleep?
I don't know. Probably not. It's gonna be ugly, man. It's gonna be ugly.
Oh man, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Speaking of superstars, when we come back, we'll be joined by our man Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans and the Rams coming up next. This is ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee! 3-ball, yes, sir!
And when you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's not just about being in your community. It's about being your community. Come experience the all-new state-of-the-art Volunteer State Bank, 2nd Murfreesboro location at 2019 Memorial Boulevard. Volunteer State Bank offers personalized services like banking for professionals, free Kasasa checking, the convenience of mobile banking, and the money you need when you need it. Visit one of our 13 locations or online at ballstatebank.com. Real people, real solutions, right here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. Call today, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. I play at BetUS, and so should you. BetUS.com.
Use code GAME for a sign-up bonus.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, Craneworks. The Craneworks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give Craneworks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call Craneworks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
Yo, this is Justin from Music City Vintage, here to provide you with all your vintage apparel and shoe needs. We've partnered with 102.5 The Game to provide you all with an exclusive discount today. Come to our shop today, located in East Nashville at 2503 Gallatin Avenue, and say The Game at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. If you're unable to make it in, we got something for you as well. All of our products in store are also available on our website at musiccityvtg.com. Just use promo code GAME at checkout and get 10% off your order.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in hour number 3 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions right here. Remember, FDIC, equal housing lender. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And as we do every Friday at 8 o'clock, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our good friend Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, host of Talking with TD, presented by FreedomTireGuys.com and Craneworks and RentalWorks. FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, online at FreedomTireGuys.com. Craneworks and RentalWorks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. TD, what's going on, my man? How we doing?
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
We are great. Appreciate you taking time to join us. So, TD, obviously a gut punch to begin the week for the Titans, losing Derrick Henry for the foreseeable future. As you look at this matchup specifically against the Rams, what's your game plan if you're Todd Downing to attack this Rams defense without having your bell cow in the backfield that you've grown so accustomed to having?
I think you still want to maintain the same approach, whereas you run the football, you establish that and make it known that that's what you're there to do, but then you work the play action off of it. But they're going to have to get a little more creative and find ways to get some of their playmakers to football. It looks like Julio Jones will play, so I would expect to have some smoke routes, like some screens and then those type of things to them. And when I say them, I mean he and A.J. Brown. You know, both of those guys, you want to get them quick touches, allow them to make plays with the ball in their hands, and that can kind of be an extension of the rushing attack, you know, and work quick passes to your slot guys, whether it's Marcus Johnson or Chester Rogers, whoever that may be. And I think something's interesting with this game that no one's really looking at, and that's the fact that this is Josh Reynolds. You know, he's getting to go against his former team, so I would like to see them get him in the mix and try to get some plays for him to, you know, have some type of impact.
Yeah, no, you're right. No one's really talking about it. I mean, Vrabel was asked about him this week and kind of quickly went to the blocking, playing without the ball thing without necessarily saying he's not doing that, but he was asked what he isn't doing, and he sort of talked about that. But I agree. Like, I feel like at this point you got to try to take advantage of every weapon you have, and I still think that he could, you know, factor in and help this team. So, TD, what's realistic with Adrian Peterson, you know, in terms of what he has left and what he can give this team, and how do you think, and for that matter, what's realistic with Deontay Foreman? You know, both those guys, you know, not in the league, the Titans sign them, and how do you think that the distribution of carries and usage will break down between those two and McNichols?
Yeah, well, we saw yesterday the approach to try to accelerate that process for them and get them used to contact during an individual period. Pretty much all of their reps, they had 3 of the practice guys, the defenders, come over and just bang into them a little bit, just like I said, to get them used to that contact again. I would think, you know, between 8 to 10 carries for those guys is probably where it would be. They'll go, in my opinion, with a committee, and you'll see a rotation of those 3 guys on the early downs, Foreman and Peterson, as well as McNichols. But then I think third down, that's McNichols. He thrives, and I think that's going to be his opportunity to, you know, carry on what he's been doing, catching the ball out of the backfield and doing those things. So I expect a committee approach.
TD, how difficult is this Rams offense to defend when you factor in, you know, the motions that they'll do pre-snap, the wide running game, and obviously now you have Matthew Stafford operating things at the quarterback position as well. What have you seen out of this Rams offense, and how big a challenge is this going to be for the Titans defense?
Yeah, there's multiple things that have happened that, you know, have led to some big plays for them. A lot of it is Matthew Stafford being able to hit Cooper Kupp in stride and allow him to use his excellent yards after catch ability, and you're seeing that in those crossing routes, right? And along with that is the play design where you have layered crossing routes designed to take a defender out and get the ball to one of the guys in space, and it just continues to be Cooper Kupp. So that's something. You mentioned the wide rushing attack, and they'll play action off of that. And it's interesting because they'll take, for instance, they'll go, you know, wide play action to the right and boot Matthew Stafford to the left, and then he'll throw it back across the field, and you're not really expecting those kind of things. When you play action and you throw it to the opposite side, not a lot of guys have the ability to throw a deep pass like that, from left to right or right to, vice versa. And that's actually what I did in Whiteboard Wednesday this week, was highlight a touchdown that Van Jefferson got, and it was off of that exact type of play. So that's something. And then you just have, Robert Woods is such a really good route runner. So there's a lot to deal with. Darrell Henderson is a solid, not too threatening running back, but it's still enough for their play action to work, and they play action as well as anybody in the league. So that's really what you have to be concerned about.
Yeah. So, and speaking of concern, I look at the injury report, and Chris Jackson hasn't been out there this week. Greg Maben, the recent pickup who goes right into the starting lineup, both those guys banged up. We did see, we've seen the game day activation before. Do you think Christian Fulton could still potentially be in this game, TD?
I don't think. Potentially yes, but I think it's very, very unlikely, just because they haven't even designated him to return to practice. Normally, that's the process, right? A guy get designated. Like you look at Hooker, he was designated to return to practice. He practiced that week and then was activated on game day. That's the normal process, going from IR. Now, for some of the other guys, like maybe Jackson or Maven, even Jeffrey Simmons, that haven't practiced all week, they could still play because, they're not coming off of IR. They've been, practicing. They just missed this week. So it's different. I don't think it's likely at all.
TD, how do you put into words what Kevin Byard has been able to do so far this season? We talked to you a lot last year about it. Hey, is Kevin Byard struggling, or is it more of a factor of what's going on around him on this defense? Obviously, an impressive response for him so far this year. What do you kind of make of what Kevin Byard has been able to do out there?
Yeah, well, you're kind of seeing a fish back in water, right? They're allowing him to play more center field, show his range, and he's as rangy. Maybe Justin Simmons might be the only guy I could think of that has better range, a better center fielder. And I don't even know that he's a better center fielder than Byard. So I think that's really what it is. He's allowed to play kind of top-down defense. And you look over this past, 6 games, they have 9 turnovers. Kevin Byard is directly tied to 4 of them. And then you have the fumble that he returned for a touchdown. So this guy is definitely worthy of the award that he got, right? Defensive Player of the Month. And I think those words are how you kind of sum up what he did, Defensive Player of the Month. I think that's it right there. But, you're finally seeing a pass rush, too, and that's obviously helping. That's something that Shane Bowen mentioned right away when asked about Byard. And it just, the front end and back end, those are 2 units that, they're directly correlated. So, those 2 units have to play well, and it really just, they feed off of each other, their success. So that's really what you're seeing with Byard.
So a couple spots, TD, to be filled on this roster. Speaking of return to play, Aaron Brewer has been in that process. Daniel Munyer waived yesterday. I wonder if Brewer could be a factor and it could be activated. And if so, obviously, it's just not the game that you want to have any sort of interior offensive line injuries and shuffling, right, against Aaron Donald and company.
Right.
But would you expect possibly Brewer to be the choice over Dylan Radunz? And then on top of that, what else can the Titans do, move in the pocket, whatever else, to try to neutralize or somewhat minimize the impact of Donald on this game?
Yeah, I would imagine Brewer would be activated, and he would be over Dylan Radunz. I just think that's a better matchup for, not even matchup, but it's just better for them because he does have, at least a year of experience under his belt. As far as Aaron Donald, man, this just because you also have to factor in Nate Davis. Haven't really seen him this week, so that's something. Your right guard position, what's going to happen there. So I would run it, Aaron Donald, from. I'm not saying consistently, but I would run the ball directly at him and give your guys, opportunity to kind of weigh on him a little bit. You know, that's something that you're going to have to do. But as you mentioned, moving the pocket, you definitely have to move the pocket away from him. But the problem is you got two really good wide rushers in Von Miller and Leonard Floyd. So it's going to be tough sledding. If you do move the pocket, you know, you're moving to those guys who get after the passer really well. So I think that's where you go back, like I said, that quick passing game. That's going to be important to do that and to try to minimize Donald's pass rush, you know, by getting the ball out of Tannehill's hands quickly.
Ron Davenport on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. TD, last thing for you here. Who does Joe Rexrode love more, in your opinion, Mekhi Sargent or Nick Westbrook-Ikhine?
Oh, there's no competition. There's Westbrook-Ikhine. But, you know, I just think it's interesting, though, just kind of like a side note, a lot of people are reacting like the Rams are trying to steal intel.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me because, yeah, they signed him. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there's not much that he could give them that they don't see on film. Like you got 8 games on film, so there's already enough quote unquote intel out there. At the end of the day, you have to stop it.
Yeah, everybody, all these Titans fans think they signed him for intel, but in 2 years when he's an All-Pro running back for the Rams, then I'll make sure to go back on him.
Okay, we shall see, man. Maybe in 2 years, I'll be. I don't know where I'll be.
We'll all be male models.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go. I'm working on it.
Yeah, me too, buddy. TD, really appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Looking forward to your coverage coming up this weekend from LA, man.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
All right, TD.
Absolutely. Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, host of Talking with TD, joins us every Friday at 8 o'clock. Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com and Craneworks and RentalWorks. FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, online at FreedomTireGuys.com. Craneworks and RentalWorks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. We'll come back. We'll react a little bit to what TD had to say there. Take your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
This is a sight that Tennessee fans don't want to see. Derrick Henry, right cleat is off down on their sideline.
Can Ryan Tannehill and the Titans rally without King Henry? Or will their hot streak come to an end against the Rams?
Their team now. They have to step up and do even more. Now, whether they can do that with the way this team's built, the way this offense is designed, time will tell.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Rams. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Mucinex presents Trusted Allies of Doctors. Throughout history, doctors have used tools they trust to help them treat your illnesses. But what do they trust when they have a cough and cold? Mucinex, the #1 brand doctors trust.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. This week marks the halfway point in the NFL season, and there is a big Sunday afternoon matchup between Green Bay and Kansas City, and FanDuel Sportsbook is going to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you can win $150 on a $5 bet. I saw Kansas City in person, and I will say this, I think Green Bay safely is the choice. FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. Plus, when you win, according to FanDuel, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. Just see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and my official sportsbook app. Just sign up with the promo code JGM this week before Green Bay takes on Kansas City, and you could win $150 on a $5 bet. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Credit expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details. details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Craneworks offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rentalworks is a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Craneworks. Visit craneworks.com.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and pay time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
As you want to stick, with the system. I mean, Derek is a unique back, and your offense was kind of unique in some ways because of that. I mean, that would require at least some tweaking, I imagine, from.
I think you can place a different emphasis on some certain areas, but I'd be doing this team a disservice if I jerked the wheel just because of an injury, as great as Derek is, and so we are who we are, and we're going to find ways, to continue to maintain that identity. And, of course, there are going to be some tweaks and quarter turns along the way, different emphasis, but, we know who we are.
That was Titans offensive coordinator Todd Downing yesterday at his media availability, saying he would be doing his team a disservice if he jerked the wheel on the offense right now. Joe Rexrode, I kind of like that. I mean, you can't just totally abandon ship on your identity, even though Derrick Henry is gone. Now, is the offense going to change? Is the play calling in certain situations going to change? Yeah, probably. But it's not like you just totally abandon the running game now that Derrick Henry's not available.
Right. I mean, you have to run the football to some extent. You no longer have the running game as your hammer. I mean, that's what it was. You were the most feared running game in the NFL because you had the most feared back who not only could batter a defense over the course of 4 quarters, but could at any moment hit a home run if you let him out of there. And you had to defenses had to put a ton of emphasis on that, so they change more than the Titans change. And defenses will change more than the Titans will change. But I totally agree with what Todd Downing said. You have to be able to have that. I mean, look, your offense is built around still running these plays. You still need your offensive linemen to execute. And if they do, and you have a serviceable back running those plays, you can still get production out of the run, and you can still set up the play action and run your offense. I mean, you can't change your offense. Now, you're going to call different plays probably more often than other plays that you called more often, and now you'll call them less often, right? And I do think matchup base this week in particular, like TD said, this is a get the ball the heck out of your hand week. But it was going to be anyway when you threw the ball. Right. It's just that now, I mean, the Rams would have been much easier, I think, to probably run play action on, and just a little bit less aggressive because you had 22, and now they can, I'm sure, feel like they can just let it rip.
Then on the other side of the ball, this is an interesting matchup because this offense is intriguing anyway. There's a whole lot of motion that goes into it. There's a whole lot of pre-snap things that take place. The wide running scheme, as TD talked about in the last segment as well. I mean, it's the Sean McVay offense that we've gotten used to seeing, and it's not like it's perfect, even though Sean McVay, apparently, according to some, can walk on water outside SoFi Stadium and get to the sideline without having to go through normal processes like us humans have to do. But I will say, it is interesting to watch this offense with a quarterback not named Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford, been awfully good so far this year.
I mean, McVay's pretty cut, though, man. You got to admit.
Yeah, he is.
Dude, that dude's got a six-pack, man.
Yeah.
Per Hard Knocks, whenever year that was.
You going to put him in the NFL head coach fight rankings?
Yeah, he'd be one of those guys who would look tough, and then, my gosh, would he get just bludgeoned by Vrabel or Dan Campbell.
I mean, he comes up to like Vrabel's. He comes up to Vrabel's sternum, probably. So yeah.
But yeah, he might win arm wrestling. I don't know. Yeah, I forgot your point there. X's and O's genius, Sean McVay.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Stafford at the quarterback position.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, I'm sorry, but I have to agree. I know that he took some criticism for how that all went down with Jared Goff and everything, and they did get to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, and I think it's been laughable how anyone mildly associated with Sean McVay could get an NFL head coaching job, but he is pretty good, and I think you see the difference this year when you have a guy with the ability that Stafford has compared to a Jared Goff. There's a pretty big gap between those two guys.
Yes, I would say so. Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jonathan from Spring Hill texting in, over under 24.5 average rushing attempts per game without Derek. I think Derek's average is around 30. What do you think? 24.5 rushing attempts as a team. You going over? You going under?
I'd probably – so we're talking average for the rest of the way?
Yeah.
I'd probably go under slightly, but I'll tell you what, if they're there or over, that bodes really well for them. I mean, that means they're sustaining drives. That means that they're having enough success to keep with it and stick with it. But I'd probably go a little bit under. You know, it's hard to. I mean, look, like in this game, I'm gonna smash the under button. Okay, because I don't think that they're gonna have that kind of success. And I think they may well be, playing catch-up at some point in the game and kind of having to abandon it. Now, in future matchups, I think that they could still have success against some of the bad defenses and bad teams playing out the string in November and December, So that will make it close. That's a good over-under. I think that's a pretty close to what it should be.
I mean, I would smash the under on this matchup too. I will say in the games they have coming up against the Houston Texans, which I fully believe Derrick Henry is going to run for like 295 yards in each of those games.
Right.
I still think they could probably get about 150, 175 yards rushing in those games.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but if they find, I just don't know what Adrian Peterson is. I just have no idea. I mean, he looks like he's in great shape out there. Who was it yesterday talking to us? In fact, was it Long? I don't remember, but somebody was telling us, and Michelle, you were there. Somebody was telling us how, maybe it was McNichols. I don't know, but how like, man, you can see like he's all even excited in the drills. Were you there for that part? I forget who the heck it was. I'm sorry. Maybe NWI. How could I forget? I'm so sorry, NWI. But regardless, the point being, it's like you can tell like he's been out for 10 months. That's what they say. Like he's been out for 10 months, and you can kind of say, oh, it was Chester Rogers. Okay, whew, I figured it out. Thank you. Like you can tell he's been out 10 months, and you can see just even in like the drills, he's like excited to do the drills, And that's, I mean, look, if he's in great shape and he's been kind of holding out to try to get a chance to play with a contender, and he's got juice left here during a time of the year when every team is banged up, it should end up being real good for them. I just don't know. You're still talking 36, so much tread off the tires. I mean, I thought last year with the Lions, he had some good moments, but also you could see where he was in his career. So for your scenario to play out, Robby, like you still have to have somebody who's good at doing it. I just don't know what they have.
McWeapon, baby. Sign me up.
I mean, Jared thinks that he's going to be the primary. I mean, I disagree with that. I mean, I think in the case of McNichols, I think he's been doing a really good job in his role, and you keep him in his role, Yeah. But hey, I mean, I would say that this week I would probably expect more rushing the football for him than we'll see moving forward, and maybe he'll do well with it, and you go with that more. But I think the plan has got to be, Peterson has this burst of rejuvenation and really gives you something. And then Foreman, I thought he looked good last year in limited opportunities, especially that game at Cincinnati. He runs with some power. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it unfolds and then how they adjust to, whoever's playing well and what works best in the offense.
Did NWI address the media yesterday?
He did.
So did he make eye contact with you and then slowly start to walk in the other direction after last week?
He saw me and he's like, guys, I have no comment. Okay?
I actually was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if Joe's going to be like, hey,
buddy.
I'm the guy.
Hey, can I have a fist bump? Fist bump, buddy, huh? Can I get you something? Yeah, no, I try to,
You were just chilling, as Paul said yesterday.
Yeah.
I was chilling. I had my bubbly in my hand and just having some nice conversation with guys. But, yeah, I'm trying not to be creepy around NWI.
Okay. The conversation
and he wasn't.
With NWI, still a top 5 moment in the history of Robby and Rexrode.
Total awkwardness.
Josh on the text line. If it's not too late, I want to change my call your shot to AJ and Julio. If I could speak, AJ and Julio will score a touchdown. Josh Reynolds, 70-plus yards. So Josh, a believer in the Josh Reynolds Revenge Tour game coming up on Sunday.
Maybe they've just been saving him. Maybe they've been saving him for this. If Julio does play, and that'll be very interesting too. Who is the third guy? I know that they'll rotate guys, but we haven't seen a lot of impact from Marcus Johnson. I still think there's impact to be made there. NWI has been solid, in his opportunities. Again, touchdown catch. That's one thing he talked about yesterday, by the way, was his girlfriend's family is from Indy. Of course, he's a Hoosier. So he had all kinds of people there to enjoy his TD catch, and he kept the ball and everything. But, is Reynolds at some point going to do anything? Rodgers is getting healthier. Before he got hurt, he was a guy that Tannehill was starting to really build something with. So some interesting options there. And, hey, I can't rule out Josh Reynolds for making some kind of impact or, like Dede said, maybe coming out and having a little revenge game. I just don't get the sense from Vrabel that, that he's a big fan of someone who isn't an effective blocker at receiver. And I know you laugh, but, they've talked about that a lot this week. And you talk about trying to find a few more yards in the run game without Derrick Henry. Every block counts.
Later this morning, it's your chance to participate in the Nashville SC Pick to Click, brought to you by Camarena Tequila. If you guess correctly which player scores the goal in the game Sunday, you will win a Nashville SC prize pack. We'll have that opportunity coming up at 9:45. When we come back, we'll be joined by the legendary Terry Crisp. We'll get his thoughts on the Predators as they're still in the midst of a long road trip here in the first part of November. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Titans, Rams. The Two-Tone Blue seeks a victory without King Henry on Sunday Night Football.
The closest you will ever see to a running back carrying a franchise.
Tune in Sunday at 5 on ESPN 94.9 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Brentwood. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Dan Abrams and his live PD sidekick Styx return in a new program, Dan Abrams Live. Premieres tonight, September 27th at 8, 7 Central on News Nation.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-3 301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Want to have the most delicious Thanksgiving meal ever and not deal with the cleanup? Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel will have a family-style meal with a menu that makes your mouth water just thinking about it. Herb butter roasted Joyce Farms turkey breast with gravy, or sorghum glazed ham, smashed Yukon Gold potatoes, biscuits and sage dressing waffles, green bean casserole, and southern corn pudding. Make your Thanksgiving easy this year at Kitchen Notes in the Omni. Go to OpenTable.com and make your reservations now.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Bill Burr, slight return.
If I've learned anything in 5 years of being married is we're always working on me.
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, slight return. Friday, April 22nd, Bridgestone Arena.
Evidently, my wife is this completed work under museum glass that is to be admired and studied. And I'm like one of these guys, you know those buildings that just has scaffolding around it for like 6 straight years?
Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bill Burr, live.
What's up, everybody? This is Teron Davenport, and I am here to tell you about Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire service. New tires, rotating, balancing, flat repair, torquing, they do it all. I can tell you this from personal experience. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the Titans facility. They came there and changed my tires, all 4 of them. They did an excellent job. My car is riding extra smooth now. If you're in need of tire service, be sure to check them out at freedomtireguys.com. If you don't see the tires you want, they'll go ahead and get it for you.
Saturday night.
Hand it off for Dell. Touchdown Ducks.
The Oregon Ducks look to stay in the college football playoff hunt when they visit the Washington Huskies.
Touchdown Washington.
Kickoff at 6:30
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions right here. Remember, FDIC, equal housing lender. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. As we do every Friday at this time, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in the legendary Terry Chris, Predators TV analyst. Terry, what's going on, brother? How we doing?
Hey, good morning, y'all. Just a great morning again. It's up and the coffee is good. Sheila and I are sitting here having a wonderful conversation about all the news in the world today. And waiting for your call and to have some fun.
Well, Crispy, we got a lot to get to on the Predators front, but let me just start by saying Saturday, I think a very bittersweet day for all of us, including myself. You announcing your retirement at the end of this season. First off, I think it goes without saying you've done such a wonderful job for the growth of hockey, but just personally, I grew up and learned a lot of the game because of you. So I want to take this time to thank you. I love you, my friend, and really looking forward to this ride together the last part of this season.
Hey, thank you so much. And Sheila and I want to just say to you and all the people, thanks for that and the reception. But you know what? We talked about it, and it's been a wonderful trip. I mean, 23 years ago, Sheila and I, we came up, we did one game to be part of the original when they didn't have an analyst. And 23 years later, we are still here. And not very long ago, Sheila and I sat having our coffee, and we said, did you ever think that we would grow old together in Nashville, Tennessee? We started laughing. We said, no. But what a wonderful place to do it. And, I mean, it's just been a wonderful trip. And as we all know, in life, there's certain things that come to an end, to a trail and whatnot, and you look around and say it's time. And we just felt that, you know what, we've had such a wonderful trip that it was time here and have one last year with all of our fans, et cetera. Have a fun, say farewell. And we're not leaving the city. We're staying here because we love Nashville, Sheila and I. And our family certainly love coming down here. So it's not a goodbye. It's just a little move over.
So did you finally get sick of dealing with Stillman? Is that it, Terry?
You know what? That's my one time when I get up and get really agitated and get insulted and insult them back, and it's been fun. So I got to tell you, I know Stiller walks the line, and you feel like a Don Cherry. You either love him or hate him. And I've enjoyed it a lot because one thing about Stiller, and let's be honest about that, you know what he's thinking, and he lets you know whether you like it or not.
Oh yes, we love Jared. We love our Crispy too. Right. So I got to say, yeah, and this is I think there's going to be a lot of great moments along the way here for you, Crispy, in this final year, and I think it's awesome that you are enjoying announcing and then enjoying the rest of the season in this role. I thought it was so cool the other night in Calgary. One, seeing I remember like Lanny McDonald, that guy was just, how do you not love that guy? First of all, back then, just watching him play, and it brought back all those memories of that cup you guys won. I forgot how awesome your hair was then, too, by the way. But the footage, and then you and Lanny hanging out with Willie and stuff, what was that night like for you? And you had your whole family in there with you. What was that like for you?
You know what? It was wonderful. And the thing about it is, the Shield when they first, when Sean Henry and Billy Wickett and our company and our organization brought up, said, "Oh no, come on, guys! I just want to go quietly into the sunset." They said, "No, you're not leaving quietly." And when they called the Calgary Flames, and they were so good about it, but when we got there, in my wildest imagination, I couldn't imagine the reception that Sheila and I got, and our whole 18 of us in the suite with all our friends, the alumni. It was amazing, and you sit back, as Sheila and I did, and coming home and whatnot, and thank Mr. and Mrs. Fritch and all of them for that. It's a walk down memory lane for us that says, you know what? Sometimes when you sit back and look at it, you are appreciated, and we thoroughly thank them all for that. And our family loved it.
Predators legend Terry Crisp on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So, Crispy, with all that being said, what have you made of the Predators so far on this road trip? Obviously, Ryan Johansson and Matt Duchene, we talked to you a lot about last week as well, but they continue to play well, continue to be productive. What do you think of those two specifically to begin the season, both with the production that they've had, but also their play away from the puck as well? What have you made of those two overall?
Probably the same thing as I thought all along. These are two very skilled hockey players, highly skilled hockey players. And so Forsberg into the mix with it. Let's hope he's not too badly injured. But he is also one of them. And when these guys are playing at the top of their game, we're a solid team, a good team, and they're the leaders on it. But the click was it that you can't take any nights off. And right now, they have kicked it back into gear. I think they've decided they're going to be the leaders on this team, that they're capable of doing, and that's what I like to see. And the rest of the team is falling in. The rest are working, and Saros is unbelievable. And the last game we were up in Edmonton watching, the game before in Calgary, that was a hockey game, up and down and hitting and going. And then the guys had to come right back into the Lions den in Edmonton. And I got to tell you one thing, Edmonton is probably the fastest hockey club I've seen. I mean, they just are fat. We've seen them, and they come at us in waves. And I'm not making any excuse. We're a little tired. But when Davey Tippett, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, when he's a great coach, towards the last half of the game, he cheated. And I say by cheated, he put out Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line. That's not fair to anybody. That is just not fair to anybody. It's worth the money to watch those guys play. But I think the guys are I know they're on the right path, our team. After last year's playoff and sort of a slow start, yes. And again, like we said, you still have Ekholm and Yossi on the back end to help the youngsters coming in. So I like what I see of our hockey club.
So, Crispy, so much made of the young guys coming into the season, of course, not sure exactly, what the roles would look like, even early. Philip Tomasino sits down, comes back. In particular with him, what are you seeing from him? Do you feel like, he's a guy who maybe at some point, not too far in the future, is, a top six forward who can be one of the driving offensive forces for this team? Or am I getting too far ahead of myself?
No, I don't think you're getting far ahead of yourself. You're like the rest of us. You're hoping that, and that's what we're looking for, a youngster like him. But the only thing I caution again is the fact that if you recall, when we first got Tolvanen and a couple of the other youngsters, we heralded them as the savior, the second coming, and that's not fair. We do that to them, and we learned that lesson. And right now, and I talked with him, Tomasino is a good youngster. He has got hockey sense, hockey skills, and he sees the ice. He loves the puck. He loves the puck. He wants to go to the net with it, and he makes things happen. But he's also going to have to learn when they hit the bigs that you only have so much time to make the plays, so much time, and he'll learn it. But what I've seen of him so far, I like it, and I especially like his hockey sense and the plays and the decisions that he makes when he's out there with the puck.
Crispy, last thing for you here. Obviously, it was announced the other day that Pekka Rinne going to have his jersey retired by the Predators. I don't think that's a big surprise to many people, but just your reaction to seeing number 35 going up in the Raptors as the first jersey to be retired by the Predators.
Oh, man, I love that. And it was Pete Weber and I and some of our broadcasters, we were talking about it. And you talk things and you say, okay, in our history, there's never been a sweater put up on the Raptors in Nashville with the Predators. And we're saying, well, yeah, and unanimously, everybody said, well, we all know it's going to be Pekka Rinne, and it should be Pekka Rinne. It has to be Pekka Rinne. And thank goodness, and the people are smart enough, because we all know that Pekka Rinne is probably the most loved player that's come. And we've had a lot of great players go through here. You put Mike Fisher, et cetera. But Pekka Rinne has carved his own spot into the hearts of our fans and the hearts of our media here. And everybody ever knows him or met him or watched him play. So to me, I just feel a sense of gratuity that I was lucky enough to watch Pekka Rinne play the way he played and carried this team on his shoulders a lot of times. And I think it's the most befitting thing that our organization has done, is taking that jersey and putting his first retired up in the rafters.
Well, Crispy, really appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Really looking forward to this last ride together with you throughout the season, and looking forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks, guys. It's been a wonderful trip, and it's going to be a wonderful finish right to the end of it. And Sheila and I are looking forward to it. And thank you guys for everything. And all of our fans out there, hey, we're not going away, and we still have lots of time to drop by the desk, say hi to Crispy. If you see Sheila on the concourse, say hi to her.
That's right, absolutely. The legendary Terry Crisp has been our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Joins us every Friday at 8:30. When we come back, it is time for Pred's Pick to Click here on Robby and Rexrode. Be the first caller at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025 for your opportunity to guess the goal scorer for the Predators as they take on the Vancouver Canucks. We'll do that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center,
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Another chilly start this morning, but it will be an overall warmer day with highs in the upper 50s and 60s with sunshine for the weekend and beyond.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
It's not just about being in your community. It's about being your community. Come experience the all-new state-of-the-art Volunteer State Bank, second Murfreesboro location at 2019 Memorial Boulevard. Volunteer State Bank offers personalized services like banking for professionals, free Kasasa checking, the convenience of mobile banking, and the money you need when you need it. Visit one of our 13 locations or online at ballstatebank.com. Real people, real solutions, right here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curation CBD. Curation means healing, and that right there says it all. Curation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets too. Order yours now at CurationCompany.com. Curation CBD, curated for life.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Saturday means college football. Turn heads at the tailgate by showing up with plenty of frosty, refreshing Dos Equis. With its Pilsner style and smooth, clean finish, you won't want to put Dos Equis down. Good thing you have another hand for high fives and fist bumps. Look for the Dos Equis display wherever you load up for tailgating. Dos Equis, a proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at NashvilleMoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Darren McFarland. That should get you in the mood for a game tonight. Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curation CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Curve on front, and the score! Who's going to find the back of the net in tonight's Preds game? Robby and Rexrode make their picks to click and welcome a listener to do the same. Pick to Click is brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, the official vodka of the NHL.
And it is that time of the day, time for Preds Pick to Click here on Robby and Rexrode. The Nashville Predators taking on the Vancouver Canucks tonight at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock pregame here on 102.5 The Game. A late one tonight on the West Coast out in Vancouver for the Nashville Predators. And the standings are as such. Joe Rexrode on a heater right now in Preds Pick to Click. He has 3 correct answers. The listeners with 2, Robbie Stanley with 1, and Michelle with 0. Still very early in the competition, but Joe Rexrode on a roll right now.
I suck at everything but this, but at least I have this. Let me have this. Let me just curl up in a ball and have this. Thank you.
We'll see what we can do. With that in mind, let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in today's participant, Stephen from Murfreesboro. Stephen, thanks for calling in to Robby and Rexrode.
What's up, guys? I'm 1-0 on Pick to Click, so let's make it 2-0.
Nice.
Let's see if we can get it going here. So, Stephen, who is your Pick to Click tonight for the Predators against the Vancouver Canucks?
I'm going to go kind of off the wall. I'm going to say Philip Tomasino.
Oh, I like that. Philip Tomasino, the selection. He's been getting some chances as of late. Stephen, we appreciate you calling in. We'll see if you can go 2-0.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Stephen from Murfreesboro going with Philip Tomasino as the first pick in the competition today. Joe Rexrode, you are up next. Believe it or not, you are up next. Joe Rexrode, your Pick to Click tonight for the Nashville Predators.
See, you guys always make me pick last, and the one time you let me pick first, I actually would rather wait, but to see what you guys did, but that's okay.
So much complaining
I know.
that goes on every time.
I have to whine.
Can't be first, can't be last.
Have to whine about something. Look, I'm on a heater. He's on a heater. Let's stay on a heater. Go Matt Duchene.
Going with Matt Duchene in the competition. He is definitely playing very well as of late. Give me Mikael Granlund. I said in Call Your Shot Friday, he's going to score 2 goals against Vancouver. So if he's going to score twice, I got to take him. And Preds Pick to Click. So I'm going with Granlund.
Way to be consistent. Michelle doesn't like to do that. She'll have a Call Your Shot, and then she won't do it in the picks and pick 'em. But hey, whatever.
Wow, Michelle.
Totally called me out there on that one. Totally did. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I really should have called my shot on Kentucky football when they beat Florida. Unlike Tennessee, who lost to Florida. Okay, so
it becomes a shot at Robby. How about that?
I was going to say, I was defending Michelle. And
displacing her anger.
Sorry, I was doing 5 things at once. Robby, I sincerely apologize. Joe, I don't apologize.
It's fine.
I'm going back to my roots. And listen, I was consistent, and then I didn't pick Ryan Johansen, and then he scored. So today, I'm picking Ryan Johansen.
Ryan Johansen, the final selection in today's edition of Pred's Pick to Click. So to wrap it up, Stephen from Murfreesboro going with Philip Tomasino with the opening pick. Joe Rexrode selecting Matt Duchene, who has been on a heater alongside Joe Rexrode as of late. Robbie Stanley, myself, going with Mikhail Granlund, and Michelle rounding it out with Ryan Johansen, who she moved away from last game, who scored last game. We'll see what happens on this front tonight. By the way, a homecoming tonight for Ryan Johansen in the Vancouver area. So there you go.
Yes. So he's going to score. Just more reason to score a hat trick.
And how about, there you
Do I get 3 points? If he scores a hat trick, can I get 1.5 points?
You cannot.
No.
You could have called that shot, but you didn't. But no, you cannot. But how about like Johansen and Duchene being heavy rotation picks so far in this kind of a sign of the times, right?
Well, it's a sign of the times, but how about like Johansen at all? Like, you know, even when Johansen's played really well here for the Predators, which – I think people forget he's played well a lot for the Predators the last 2 years, notwithstanding. But he's never really been a big goal scorer here. And so far, I mean, you're 10 games in, he's got 4 goals. That's a pretty good pace so far for Ryan Johansen.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. Like, if we would have done this, 3 years ago, like the President's Trophy year, I still don't think, I don't remember what he had that year off the top of my head, but he wasn't, he's never been a big goal scorer here.
It was probably around 14 or 15.
Yeah, and back then it was like, great player, but shoot the puck more. But that's the thing is, I mean, this team needs him to find the back of the net. I mean, the state of this roster in terms of the forward group dictates that he's got to do that more.
Joe, we've not talked about this a lot so far this week with everything going on with Derrick Henry, but I do think it's important to bring it up now. We had Terry Crisp on in the last segment, and, Saturday really it was bittersweet. I'm really happy for Terry and Sheila that, they're able to kind of leave on their terms and enjoy this last year together in this role for Crispy. And as he said, I mean, he'll still be around, and, this is by no means is, goodbye to Terry Crisp. But, as somebody who grew up here, and the Predators came around when I believe I was 6 years old, was their first season. I mean, Terry Crisp and Pete Weber are largely responsible for me learning the game of hockey. I mean, that's just what it was. I watched a whole lot of Pete Weber and Terry Crisp. I think I'm not alone. My generation was really the first generation of hockey here growing up with an NHL team. And so Saturday was a bittersweet day for me because Crispy has been a part of my life since I was a little kid. So just a really great run for Terry Crisp. Obviously, we talk all the time about the person that he is and how much of a legend he is in the game of hockey. But this is a big loss. There's nobody that's going to be able to come in and replace Terry Crisp. But I'm really happy that he's announced it when he has, so we can kind of enjoy this last season with Crispy on the broadcast.
Yeah, well said. And I mean, that's just such a cool story. And how many people, out there could say something similar to what you just said? That, he was part of you and this game coming together, and that's just the fascinating thing to me is and I've heard, Crispy and Pete Weber, heard their stories, some of their stories, not all their stories. I want to hear more stories, but I've heard some of their stories about those early days and basically like hockey 101, and like grassroots, like, okay, let's talk about the game of hockey. And it's, even the story of Crispy coming here, when it was sort of like, hey, can you do like a broadcast maybe? And all, and at that point he was resolved to, I believe, stay in Florida. Right. And, and then it turns into this, I mean, he's a huge part of Nashville Predators history, and you can't, and as is Pete Weber. I mean, I think I put those two together, obviously, for obvious reasons. But man, just what an awesome guy. You talk about someone who's done everything in this game. He's won the cup as a player. He's won the cup as a coach. And there is not a single – I guarantee you he wouldn't turn down a single person on the street at any point to talk, to chat him up, to take a picture, whatever it is. Just an awesome dude.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our good friend Kathlena. Kathlena, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Good to hear you this morning. But I have a great Terry Crisp story that you guys will love. I was at a hockey game. This was several years ago, but we were playing, I believe we were playing Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. But there were like a group of 7 guys that had come into town for whatever reason. Maybe they were here for a bachelor party. I'm not sure. But I met them. They had bought tickets to come to the game, and I met them as we were talking, as we were going in the game. And we were chit-chatting and everything. And I happened to mention, I said, Calgary, y'all know Terry Crisp is our color analyst here. He was still a color analyst back then. And they went, Terry Crisp? And I said, yeah. And they go, oh, my gosh, we love that guy. And they're just talking about, just talking about. Well, it just so happened after the game, I was walking out. We were on the 3rd level up there in the 300s, and we were walking out. And here comes Terry out of, wherever he was coming from. And I said, well, there's Terry right there. And these guys, you'd have thought he was Elvis in the village. They swarmed him, and they were just talking to him, and he was so gracious. He just stood there and chatted with these guys. And that's a great Terry Crisp story, because that's the type of person he is. But these guys you would thought he was royalty.
No, that's awesome. Kathleen, we appreciate you sharing that with us.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
case in point.
That's case in point. I mean, it's just how it is every time. I thought it was also, I was really glad that they announced it when they did, not only from the timing of being able to enjoy him for the rest of the year, but also that Barry Trotz and the New York Islanders were in town as well. It was funny. They brought him out on the band stage to kind of, make the announcement and wave to the fans in the stands. And while they brought Crispy out there, I looked down on the bench, and Barry Trotz is like standing on top of the bench, clapping for like a minute and 45 seconds straight. It was pretty awesome to see.
That is so cool. Yeah, and then of course you get the Calgary. I mean, he's a legend in Calgary, regardless. But also, I think it sort of put a little bit more on that situation too, and having his whole family there and everything. So it's going to be like you said. I mean, it's a bittersweet farewell, but pretty awesome when you can dictate things like this as he can.
Absolutely, and looking forward to this one last season with Crispy as a broadcaster on the Predators TV network. Going to be really awesome to see that. We enjoy having him every Friday as well at 8:30. When we come back, we'll get into the Vols and Kentucky. We'll be joined by Kyle Tucker from The Athletic. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans?
He has all the weapons to make it happen.
There's so much to pay attention to.
Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching.
They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
A Saturday off. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. A weekend to recharge for Vanderbilt football with the open date after 9 straight weeks of games. 3 to play with the team at 2-7. Quarterback Mike Wright has been the starter for the last 3 and says he's learning a lot. It's been fun.
Just the mental aspect of it all, just we've got a whole another week where we can, really focus on things that we want to clean up. Go ahead and clean those things up. Look forward. I think, for me, I hate that we have a bye week because I want to just go out there and play again.
Wright passed for 3 touchdowns and rushed for 152 yards last week against Missouri. The season will continue on the 13th with a final home game against Kentucky. Less than a week out from the start of basketball season. More preseason honors for Commodore guard Scottie Pippen Jr. among 20 named to the NABC Division I Player of the Year watch list. Pippen and the Commodores begin on Wednesday against Alabama State. The Vandy women open with Gardner Webb on Tuesday in the first game under Coach Shea Ralph, who says they have a long way to go.
The biggest challenge for our team this year is going to be what we work on and talk about every single day, which is creating and laying this foundation of a healthy championship culture. 8
players returned from last season's COVID-shortened year with 5 freshmen and a transfer on the roster. Second home meet of the fall season for Vanderbilt swimming this weekend, Saturday against Tulane. Starts at 1 o'clock at Centennial. Jeremy Orkin's group is 3-1 on the season. That's the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
The St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series Nashville returns to the Music City, November 18th through 20th. You don't have to be a runner to enjoy the excitement of Nashville's premier downtown race. Come help your community as well as the thousands of runners by volunteering. With over 1,000 positions available, there's a spot for everyone. Head to NashvilleSports.com for more information and get a free t-shirt when you register to volunteer. We'll see you there.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Hey, this is Jared, the owner of MTGRT.com. If your mortgage rate is not in the twos, then you need to call me now. We are locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. That's right, you heard it right. Locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. Text me on my personal cell at 615-969-2257 or fill out a few pieces of information on our website, MTGRT.com. MTGRT.com is the proud sponsor of Paul Feinbaum, heard on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions right here. Remember FDIC, equal housing lender. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Looking ahead to Tennessee and Kentucky, a big Saturday coming up tomorrow. And to help us talk more about that, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our good friend Kyle Tucker from The Athletic. Kyle, what's going on, brother? How we doing?
I'm great. I gotta say, as you made that introduction, I know Michelle likes the Saturday thing. I think it's the worst attempt of like hyping up the day by a college program that I've ever seen, because all I think about when I see it, all I read is Cat Turd Day, and I can't deal with it every time I see it. Cat turd.
Kyle,
it does spell out turd.
Just
I
one
never
syllable.
liked you more than I do right now. This is a great moment. Great moment. So Kyle, with that in mind,
poor Michelle,
for the Cat Turd Day tomorrow against Tennessee, what is this Kentucky team? Obviously, they've had some huge wins this year. They destroyed LSU. Really impressive win against Florida. You know, obviously nobody's really hanging there with Georgia right now. And then last week against Mississippi State comes around, and the turnovers are an issue. Mississippi State has a lot of success through the air. What have you made of this Kentucky football team, and where exactly do you think they are heading into this matchup against Tennessee?
Yeah, it's really interesting because they start 6-0. I think it was like the fourth time in 50 years or something that they started 6-0. Everybody was fired up. They beat Florida at home for the first time in 35 years. As you mentioned, they crushed LSU. I mean, if you look at it now, though, that 6-0 start was against, I think I had totaled it up after last weekend, and it was against teams that combined were one or two games over 500. Florida and LSU, obviously not what they often are this year. Nonetheless, they look pretty good through half the season. I think what we've seen probably from Kentucky is just how hard it is to keep climbing in the SEC, and that I would say, you know, Kentucky's top 22 guys can probably hang with all but one or two teams, you know, probably all but Georgia and Alabama in the league. Their top 22 probably is right up there with everybody in the league. But there's a difference in that and being able to get through 12 weeks, you know, with enough depth. And depth is where, you know, in the SEC, depth of really good players. That's why the 5-star the blue chip ratio that people talk about to be a national title contender. You got to have, you know, 40 of those guys on your roster. Kentucky's probably got 25, which is way more than they ever had before. But, you know, you get a couple key injuries, you get some guys banged up, and then all of a sudden you see, you know, what happened Saturday. I think there's also an element of, you know, it happened in 2018 when Kentucky won 10 games. They were rolling, and they get set up to this November game where it's essentially an elimination game in the East. The winner is going to win the East between Kentucky and Georgia. There's all this hype for it, and Georgia blows their doors off and then they come out and lay a total egg against Tennessee the next week because they kind of let the air out of the balloon. And that's kind of what happened, I think, in the Mississippi State game. They had all this buildup. They thought they could go challenge Georgia. They didn't. That's off the table, and they have a letdown. They were coming off a bye week too. I think just some of the air went out of the balloon there. So that's where they are right now. I think a little bit defeated. They were a little bit banged up, but I would also say, my hunch is that they will be incredibly fired up because they felt a little humiliated by what happened in Starkville. Their brand under Mark Stoops has been kind of smash mouth, run it on you, hit you in the face. That's what they did in Knoxville last year against Tennessee. I imagine they'll try to get back to that. Chris Rodriguez, their star running back, he was leading the SEC in rushing. Kind of took a beating against that Georgia defense and was hurt against Mississippi State and was just terrible in that game. And they say he's had a great week of practice and is healed up. So, I think they'll try to make a statement. We'll find out if they've got enough guys right now that are healthy enough to do it.
Kyle, I can't sit here and let you disparage the amazing coaching job Jeremy Pruitt did on that fine day in 2018, showing us all of the great things that come for Tennessee football. No, you may have a point there.
No, I do think that's why I'm not sure I will ever comfortably pick Kentucky to beat Tennessee because it doesn't matter how good Kentucky is or how bad Tennessee is in that moment. It's like so many times that Kentucky, I thought, at least was good enough to make it a game, get run off the field or get stunned by not a very good Tennessee team. It's happened plenty in recent years. Last year was the big surprise to me that Kentucky went in there and kind of drubbed them. But it won't surprise me at all if Tennessee wins this game on Saturday.
Well, what about Will Levis? Just because to me that's just been as I've looked at Kentucky. First of all, I mean I agree. Like I think Mark Stoops has done things. When you talk about having 25 of those guys, I never would have guessed that would ever happen at that program. And just the consistency and the physicality and all these things, it's just so impressive. I don't think it gets talked about enough in terms of the kind of job he's had. But obviously the last couple of years, it's like, man, they struggled to throw the ball when they need to throw the ball. It's better this year, but what is your assessment through a half season of Will Levis?
Yeah, he's kind of hit or miss. I think you can see why he was a guy that Penn State used, like that he wasn't just stuck on the bench. Even with an established starter, they were using him quite a bit over the last 2 years, but also why he wasn't the guy because he's inconsistent. The accuracy, sometimes the decision-making, not great. He's got a huge arm. He's probably got the best arm of any quarterback at Kentucky in, 20 years. I mean, it's been
Tim
a long
Couch?
time. Yeah, maybe. It is a cannon, and he's a really good athlete. He's built like a tank. Really some of his most impressive plays this year have been these just sort of like, all-out crazy runs where he lowers his shoulder and runs people over. He had a crazy spin move, I think, in the LSU game. He's an intriguing physical talent, but he hasn't put it all together in the past game yet. They've got the new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, from the Rams. Cohen has had some games where he was pushing all the right buttons, and you could see sort of that bright, young offensive mind. But they're missing a few things. One, the quarterback, like you said, Levis is, he's hit or miss on the accuracy. He's great on the deep ball, but they haven't hit any of those in the last 2 weeks. But typically great on the deep ball, not so much on some of the other touch passes. He'll give the ball to you. He'll throw some interceptions. A lot of times they're off the receiver's hands, which you can put on them a little bit, but because they're a little bit off target. And then the other thing is they just don't have enough weapons yet at wide receiver. Wandale Robinson, the Nebraska transfer, who's from Kentucky, Mr. Football in Kentucky. He's been electric. He might still be top 2 or 3 in the SEC in catches and receiving yards. But that's kind of it. Like that's kind of all they've got in the pass game. And so they're out, I think, tirelessly recruiting weapons to throw the ball to. But that makes a difference. I think that affects your quarterback too when there's just not a lot of open guys or guys who are going to go make a tough catch for you. And so the passing game is not quite there yet, which allows teams like Georgia and then, ultimately Mississippi State, I think last week, to just really sell out and stop the run. and we've seen that a little bit too. So they definitely need Levis and I guess Wan'Dale Robinson to try to take the top off of the defense a couple times Saturday to open that running game back up. Because that's whatever Mark Stoops is trying to do to balance the offense. When Kentucky's been good over the last 5 years, it's been because they could just line it up and run it down your throat. And more often than not, they have been able to do that.
Kyle Tucker from The Athletic on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And Kyle, obviously, Tennessee is going to want to go fast offensively in this game, going to want to run the ball as well. How equipped is this Kentucky defense to handle what Josh Heupel and company are going to try to throw at them?
Well, I think that also puts a lot of pressure on Kentucky's offense because I do think Tennessee is going to score. I've been really impressed with that offense. I mean, they have scored on everybody. I mean, and Kentucky's defense has been a little bit disappointing over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think their defensive coordinator, Brad White, said this week that they missed, 20 tackles in the Mississippi State game, which is just a terrible, terrible number. They haven't been good enough. Part of it, again, injuries. They've had multiple guys, key guys on the defense injured. When you talk about recruiting and the depth it takes to survive in the SEC, they had an NFL draft pick at defense, at nose guard, inside. It was kind of a wrecking ball. McCall, he gets injured. They have a 4-star recruit step up. Oxendine, who looked awesome in the LSU game, was just flattening people, and he gets hurt out for the season in that game. And so now you're down to your third guy. I mean, Kentucky's typically on the offensive and defensive line over the years barely had, a good starting group. Now they're deep enough. They got 2 really good, first and second string on both sides of the ball. But not even most of the top teams in the country are going to do too well when you get down to the third string guy, and that's kind of where they sit. They've got a couple linebackers banged up. I think it's a real challenge. I think Tennessee is going to score points. To me, Kentucky almost has to outscore them really on Saturday.
All right, I got to ask you about what 97% of Big Blue Nation has turned attention to, as I'm assuming at least. Kyle,
the Rifles, the national championship winning rifle team.
Well, we can talk that too if you like. I didn't know about that. See, that's a good tidbit. But how are Cal's guys looking? It looks like, I know he has loaded rosters often, but it looks like this could be a pretty intriguing mix.
Yeah, this is a really interesting Kentucky team for 2 reasons. One, what they're coming out of, the worst season in 94 years at Kentucky, a 9-win season that kind of was shocking to everybody. And then 2, how Cal went about sort of rebuilding the roster, and it was not at all the normal way that he does. He's only got 3 freshmen total, maybe only 1 that he's counting on, 1 or 2 that he's definitely counting on to be a huge piece of this. And then he's got returning guys and transfers. And this will be one of, if not the most experienced team in college basketball this year. It is the most experienced team in Kentucky history. They looked that up the other day based on college minutes played, games started, points scored. Not all those guys have been at Kentucky. They've got Kellen Grady, who's got 2,000 points at Davidson. Oscar Tshiebwe, who was the best rebounder in the Big 12 at West Virginia. C.J. Frederick, the most accurate three-point shooter at Iowa in the Big 10. And then I'm forgetting one more. Severe Wheeler, who led the SEC in assists last year. And they've got 4 or 5 guys back who played a bunch for them. They've got juniors who've been there for a while. It's really crazy that Calipari, kind of the king of one and done, who multiple years has started 5 freshmen. This year, he could go 6 deep before he even has to play a freshman. He'll have 1 in the starting lineup for sure. Ty Washington, who they think is going to be a star. But all around him are juniors, seniors, and super seniors. They have 2 of the super seniors who are playing a 5th year of college basketball and have over 100 starts in college basketball. That's just a really unique situation over the last 12 years at Kentucky. That they've never had anything like that under Cal, and really never had anything like it, period. So they've got an old group for once, and Cal's not teaching sort of remedial math to start the season. He's jumping in with some higher level concepts, and I think that's more than anything. He doesn't have as many guys that are going to really just pop, and you're going to go, that guy's definitely a pro. But he has a bunch of dudes who know how to play the game, and I think that'll be probably pretty refreshing for him, and I think definitely refreshing for kind of a beleaguered fan base. It's a little tired of the constant roster churn and watching 18-year-olds try to figure out how to play basketball for the first 2 or 3 months of the season.
Kyle Tucker from The Athletic has been our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Kyle, great stuff as always, man. Appreciate you taking time to join us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Kyle.
Kyle Tucker from The Athletic. Not a big fan of Catterday, Kyle Tucker.
Cattered.
One syllable. Catterday.
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 So I forgot to ask Kyle if he will be at Kroger Field. Is that the journalism aisle? Like what do they call the press box at Kroger Field?
Press box at Kroger Field's very nice.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, right? We got some nice facilities over there, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Kroger Field, nothing but the best.
Yeah, that's right. Tune in to the NFL Game of the Week on 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. The Game of the Week this Sunday is the Minnesota Vikings at the Baltimore Ravens with a noon kickoff on 102.5 The Game. We'll come back. We'll continue the discussion on Tennessee and Kentucky. Take your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is a sight that Tennessee fans don't want to see. Derrick Henry, right cleat is off down on their sideline.
Can Ryan Tannehill and the Titans rally without King Henry? Or will their hot streak come to an end against the Rams?
Their team now. They have to step up and do even more. Now, whether they can do that with the way this team's built and the way this offense is designed, time will tell.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Rams. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know when you win, you're gonna get paid. You need a sports book that offers all the action to make every game feel like the playoffs. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS. I play at BetUS, and so should you. Now is your turn. Join now. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US. My favorite sports book, BetUS.com.
Up to 200% sign-up bonus. Support the station and use code GAME.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health, if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift giving easy.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Go to GameNashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. The new deal this week is a $30 gift card for only $15 to 312 Pizza Company in Germantown. 312 Pizza Company serves as the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. Get your deal now at theGameNashville.com/deals. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, on Twitter, and on YouTube today and every day. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Robby and Rexrode brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations. Remember, FDIC, equal housing lender. Joe Rexrode, obviously this is a big matchup tomorrow for Tennessee and Kentucky. For both teams, a rivalry game. Right now, the line on the FanDuel Sportsbook is a half a point in favor of Kentucky. So basically a pick'em game tomorrow in Lexington. Your keys to victory for the Tennessee Volunteers in this game would be what?
Well, I just think to me, it's one key, and that's just have a good, mistake-free, balanced day offensively, and I don't know that Kentucky can keep up on the scoreboard. If Tennessee executes, if the mazes are out there on the offensive line, if the backs are healthy, there's a lot of positivity about that coming out of Knoxville this week. And you execute the way you've been executing, then I think you're in good shape. I mean, like defensively, I think Tennessee will get some stops, make some plays. As Kyle said, obviously the run game is a huge thing for if you're Kentucky, to me the key is like keep the ball and finish drives with touchdowns, but keep the ball. Tennessee doesn't care, because they have 9-second touchdown drives, but that's what you want to do is keep the ball away from them. Tennessee's defense, I think, as long as it doesn't have just a complete awful day and give up all these big plays, then I think you leave it in the hands of your offense, and the offense is good enough to win this game.
Health's going to be a big key. Obviously, it looks like the running game could have Tyon Evans and Jabari Small as a 1-2 punch, which they've not really had a ton so far this year. So it'd be interesting to see what that looks like with those two guys. It looks like the Mays brothers could be healthier as well. So some good news on the injury front. The bye week coming at the right time for Tennessee after the Alabama game. It's going to be interesting in this game. And a lot of Tennessee fans that I've spoken to this week, they're nervous because if you would have asked people 3-4 weeks ago, Kentucky's probably a pretty decent favorite in this game. As I said, now it's basically down to a pick'em. And that's making Tennessee fans a little nervous based on what we've seen so far. It's going to be an interesting game. This is a big one for Josh Heupel.
It is. I mean, this is the last. Well, I shouldn't say it's the last. They have Georgia next week. Georgia will be in Neyland Stadium. There will be a football game. But to me, the last realistic chance of a signature win, and I do think it's a signature win. You're talking about a ranked team. What is Kentucky? 17, 18 in the playoff rankings. Yep. Even after the loss to Mississippi State, they would have been pushing for top 10 had they played better and won that game. But it's a good program. It's a program that you have to measure yourself by. Whether you like it or not, you have to. You have to measure yourself by them as a team and a program right now. And I think Kentucky is a great demonstration of what stability can do. Now, Tennessee has not had anything close to stability. Tennessee has a higher ceiling as a program, but that's when you find someone who, can give you a certain level of stability and an identity in terms of that type of football you want to play, that means a lot. But right now, Tennessee is chasing that and chasing Kentucky on the recruiting trail and everything. So this would be one of those games that if you can win it in your first year, go into their house when they're ranked and you're unranked and win that game, you can turn around and say to recruits, okay, great job by Kentucky this year. They've done a nice job, but we can be better than this in years to come. Why wouldn't you want to come play with us?
And then we'll see what happens with the big bet coming up this weekend as well. A lot riding on this game in terms of whether or not I'm going to be wearing a Kentucky hat or shirt coming in on Monday.
I think you would look great in Kentucky blue, Rob.
You think so?
Much better than the gaudy orange.
Oh, wow. Ripping the orange. Oh, my goodness. So, wait, do we
went Sandra Bullock on me.
I did go Sandra Bullock on you.
Do we have actually items of clothing picked out for the loser if you win your bet?
Oh, I am bringing all of the Kentucky gear. I will have stuff for me to wear on Monday, Kentucky. I will have stuff for Robby to wear Kentucky on Monday. Joe, I might even bring a hat for you.
Well, I'm not.
He'll be in LA.
Joe, you will be in LA, so it'll just be Rob and I.
I will be talking like this to you as you both
4 o'clock in the morning
speak about the big Kentucky-Tennessee game. Okay, but do you have? Okay, so right now you have something in mind for him, or you're gonna go get something this weekend?
I have a shirt in mind.
I think you should bring, if you win, a really extra small shirt, like a half shirt or something.
I was gonna say,
why
it's
not
probably
make
important
it
to keep in mind that my shirt size is much larger than Michelle's.
Why not make it embarrassing? You know.
We could do a little crop top for Rob.
And what about you, Rob?
About getting some views.
Yeah. Well, a lot of this show's appeal is our sex appeal. So, let's face it. Let's be honest here about what the people want.
Joe, I'll bring you some UK flip-flops for Heidi.
That would actually.
There you go.
Yeah, I will wear the UK flip-flops to the pedicure. Yeah.
Yes.
Or there you go. So what about you, Robby? Do you have something in mind?
Oh, yeah.
Like the most orange of all orange things for Michelle to wear?
It's going to be incredibly orange, yes.
Outstanding.
It's going to be awesome.
It'll just match my hair and my skin tone.
Yeah, looking forward to it. The Nashville Predators will honor recently retired goaltender Pekka Rinne by hanging his number 35 in the Bridgestone Arena rafters coming up on February 24th of 2022. And in honor of this night, the team has announced the 35 Pekka plan. This ticket plan allows fans to attend either 3 or 5 games during the 21-22 season, including the February 24th game against the Dallas Stars, while also seeing a donation made to the 365 Pediatric Cancer Fund presented by Twice Daily at Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. The 35 Pekka plan is the best way to get tickets to this historic event, and all fans in attendance will receive a replica Pekka Rinne jersey retirement banner. Visit NashvillePredators.com/Pekka plan to get your pack today. When we come back, it is time for Pigskin Pick'em here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll do that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tonight,
Forsberg shoots and scores. Battle for the rebound. Saros got to it.
The Predators road trip continues from the Pacific Northwest when they clash with the Vancouver Canucks. Pre-game at 8, face-off at 9
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Rolling Loud presents rap superstar The Baby. Live show Kill a Tour. The Baby.
As if I got a reason to act like I'm lonely.
Nashville Municipal Auditorium, January 19th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. The Baby for one incredible night in Nashville. For full show info and more, check liveshowkillatour.com.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue, so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
This Sunday,
they opened the gates and the boys came out.
The boys in gold wrap up their regular season at Nissan Stadium when Nashville SC hosts New York City FC. Coverage begins at 2:15
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for Pigskin Pick'em here on Robby and Rexrode. We pick both pro and college football games. And we begin like we do every week with a quick standings update. Joe Rexrode, do you have the updated standings in our competition, which is not going very well for you and I?
Do I have to?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right. Yeah, so last week, so what happened was I went 1-5, didn't get my lock. Robby, you went 2-4, didn't get your lock. Michelle went 5-1. She didn't get her lock, though. So,
that's good.
So there you go. Glimmer of hope for us. So Michelle now, 35-13. Woo! 40 points. 5-3 on her locks. Robby, you're at even 500. 24-24. 25 points. You are 1-7 on your locks. I am an abysmal 21-27. 23 points. 2-6 on my locks. I'm still only 2 points behind you. So it's Robby and Joe in the toilet bowl competition, which I believe, is there a toilet bowl aisle / section in the Kroger Field, by the way? Like,
I'm sure you could find your way to it.
Toilet paper, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
Yeah, the toilet paper has T's on it that are orange, if you recognize that logo.
Oh.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right. I'll shut up.
All right,
so
well,
there we
with
go.
that in mind, let's begin with that game. No Vanderbilt in action this week, so we'll begin this week with Tennessee and Kentucky. Kentucky favored by 0.5 point in this game. So it's essentially a pick-em. Michelle, we begin with you. I don't even really need to ask you because I know where you're going, but I'll ask you anyway. Kentucky or Tennessee?
Kentucky! There you go. I hope everybody enjoyed that so much.
Well, if you're so confident, lock it down.
Well, no.
Okay.
I like to win better, and I'm not going to lock it down. I got to just...
hedging bets. That showed a little bit of a...
Brain and heart.
Uh-huh.
All right. Joe Rexrode, Tennessee and Kentucky, essentially a pick-em in this matchup.
Balls lock.
Wow. Yeah! Going with a lock.
Where's my
Tennessee.
lock sound? Give me my lock
just
sound.
did it.
I didn't hear it. Did you hear it?
No.
Guaranteed.
You're muting my lock. You're muting my lock sound. There we go.
There we go.
The Vols, it's not going to be a blowout, but I feel very confident the Vols win this game by about a score of 38-28.
Wow.
It's an easy lock. Win. Now, here's the thing, Michelle. Because I locked it, you should actually feel better about your team winning. But anyway, Vols lock.
I will go with Tennessee as well. And I, too, will lock it down. I was going to lock it down.
Wow.
I'm locking this thing down, too. Look, I feel pretty confident in this Tennessee offense. So I'm locking it down with the Vols. Sorry to all Tennessee fans. That means they're probably totally screwed at this point.
I mean, Tennessee fans who listen to this show have to be so mad at us right now because we're totally I'm sorry.
Based on you guys picking that, I feel more confident now.
I can't argue with you.
The Titans and the Rams coming up on Sunday Night Football. The Rams now favored by 7 in this game. Was it 7.5? Now the line at 7 points. Joe Rexrode, we begin with you. The Rams and the Titans.
Yeah, I hate this line. Man, I hate this line. I mean, a half point either way, it makes a big difference. But I'm going to go with the Titans. I think the Titans are going to lose a close game. I think something in the range of 31-27 Rams. And I'm not at all taking off the tables the Titans winning this game outright. I think it sets up psychologically, lose Derrick Henry, you're out, you're not a contender anymore, et cetera, et cetera. It sets up for them to respond very well. I think they will and keep it close. So give me the Titans in the 7.
I will go with the Rams in this game. I think it's going to be a close game into the second half, but I think the process of figuring things out offensively without Derrick Henry is going to take a minute, and I will go with the Rams to win by 10 in this game. Michelle Knesvik, the Titans and the Rams.
I think that on Sunday it's going to be a Mike Vrabel special. All this news about Derrick Henry this week, the Titans are done, This is when they perform the best, when they're out of the game. So I'm taking the Titans and make it my lock, guys.
Lock. I feel better about my pick now. I feel better about my pick.
Down on the Titans. Very well done by Michelle Knesvik. So like I said, no Vanderbilt this week, so we'll have 4 individual selections. I'll kick us off here. This line to me is really interesting in college football. Ohio State minus 14.5 against Nebraska. I think Ohio State's playing a lot better as of late. Give me Ohio State minus the 14.5 against Will's Nebraska Cornhuskers. Sorry, Will. We apologize to you. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
Yeah, Liberty at Ole Miss. Ole Miss minus 9.5. Liberty, good story. Got good old Hugh Freeze. Malik Willis is an NFL prospect, as is Matt Corral. I think Ole Miss is going to respond, and I just think that ultimately they're going to win this game going away. So I definitely like Ole Miss given the 9.5.
It's 8.5 right now because I have that one too.
It's down to 8.5.
Oh.
So you definitely.
Well, then even better. Thanks.
You're welcome. Michelle Knesvik, your first individual selection.
They did wonders for me last week. Wake Forest has been putting up numbers. Wake Forest is the underdog in this game. UNC favored by 2.5. I'm taking Wake Forest.
So going with Wake Forest against North Carolina, probably a pretty good pick on that front. Joe Rexrode, your second individual selection.
So Tulsa at Cincinnati minus 22.5. I think that this week, for themselves and really for the entire college football watching nation, the Bearcats are going to absolutely open up a can on whoever it may be. This week it happens to be Tulsa. I think Cincinnati wins this by 30+. Give me the Bearcats minus the 22.5.
So expecting the Bearcats to be angry after the college football playoff rankings. Michelle Knesvik, your second individual selection.
Quick question. Are we allowed to do the same game? Because I had Ole Miss as well.
Yeah, we've done it.
Sure.
Okay, ahead. I have Ole Miss, Liberty. Ole Miss favored by 8.5. I'm taking Ole Miss. Lane train, baby.
Right. There you go. My second individual selection, I will go Sparty minus the 2.5 against Purdue. Michigan State, I think they get it done by a touchdown in this game against the Boilermakers. So give me Sparty minus 2.5 against Purdue.
Sparty's been good to you.
Yeah, Sparty's been very good to me. Michelle Knesvik, your third individual selection.
Moving to the NFL, Patriots, Panthers. The Pats are favored by 3.5. I'm taking the Pats.
not been very impressive from the Panthers as of late. So going with the Patriots in that game. I, too, will go to the NFL. I think the Niners are getting better. I like what they've done the last couple of weeks. A pretty good performance last week against Chicago. But I also like the Arizona Cardinals, and somehow the Niners are favored in this game. Give me the Cardinals +2 against the Niners. I will take Arizona all day in that matchup. Joe Rexrode, your third individual selection.
Sticking with college, Penn State at Maryland. Maryland getting 10. Again, this is one of those where I'd love 9.5, but I just think Penn State certainly had their hopes dashed. The big question with them is how much they got 3 losses. Like, how much do they have left? But I think that they go thrash a not very good Maryland team. So give me Penn State -10.
Joe Rexrode, go ahead and kick us off with your fourth and final individual selection.
And my one NFL pick here of the 4, Chargers at Eagles. Eagles -1.5. I know that this is the classic West Coast team traveling east scenario that often gets the West Coast team, but I think the Chargers buck that and handle the Eagles. So give me the Chargers +1.5.
I will go with the Pittsburgh Steelers as my final selection against the Bears. They're favored by 6 against Chicago. That's a big line when it comes to that Pittsburgh offense. But I think Justin Fields and that Bears offense is going to have a whole lot of trouble moving the ball against Pittsburgh's defense. So I will take the Steelers -6 against the Chicago Bears. Michelle Knezovic, your final individual selection.
So, Rob, I was going to go with the Cards 49ers, but I'm going to change it because I'm going to make it interesting. Packers, Kansas City.
There we go.
No Aaron Rodgers this week. Kansas City is favored by 7.5. I say they take it. I say they cover, and we're going to have a sad Robbie Stanley.
My goodness. So not only are you going to make him wear a blue half shirt, you're going to taunt him about Jordan Love's terrible performance against the Chiefs. Man, I'm sad I won't be here Monday morning.
You want to hear an extra edition of Call Your Shot Friday?
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Packers win outright. Packers win outright. Go to 8-1 against Kansas City.
Well,
Kansas City's not good.
You better advocate for McLovin to lose his job if this happens.
I will not do that, but the Packers will win outright this weekend. Book it. Write it down.
Book it.
I'll put that in the Call Your Shots.
All right. That is today's edition of Pigskin Pick'em. Joe, good luck. Michelle, as always, you don't need it. So looking forward to this weekend.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Good luck to you, too.
I can't wait for one of you two to lose. I'm so excited for one of you to lose and be miserable Monday.
I am such a bad loser.
Is that bad? Am I a bad person?
No, I'm a really bad loser. I feel like Robby is, too.
Oh, I am. But it's going to happen to one of us coming up. So looking forward to that on Monday.
You guys need to do a Robby Michelle cast for the game. Come on, make it happen.
Should we
Facebook
should
Live.
We delay it? Should we delay it until Tuesday so you can be here for it? That's my question.
I mean, I'll be able to laugh quietly in my hotel room in LA at 4 a.m.
Robby, let's go Instagram Live before the game.
Okay.
Or after.
All right. We'll see what we can do on that front. When we come back, it is time for NSC Pick to Click, brought to you by Camarena Tequila. You can hear Nashville SC take on New York coming up on Sunday on ESPN 94.9. Be caller number 1, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caller number 1 will have their opportunity to guess the goal scorer for Nashville SC in that game. We've also got some tickets to give away on the other side as well. So all that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Lots of sunshine this afternoon, highs in the 50s. Sunshine continues for the weekend with highs in the 60s. Storms not back in the forecast until the end of next week.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy-only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology, but we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
The 2021 Major League Soccer season isn't over yet, Nashville. Are you in? There's just one regular season home match remaining as we make our final push for a playoff spot. Don't miss the action on Sunday, November 7th at 2:30 p.m. against New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Come be a part of the most unique sports experience in Nashville. Tickets are on sale now from just $22 at NashvilleSC.com. Everyone in.
How'd you like that?
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Jared Stillman.
I cannot believe they picked this guy I've never heard of.
And company.
You're forced to play cap gymnastics, which makes it a little bit more difficult for picking up other guys.
Tune in Stillman and Company for your drive home. Delivered by TriStar Moving. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's hooked in and headed in! Delirium! Yonder Cadiz!
Who's going to find the back of the net in the upcoming Nashville SC match? Robby and Rexrode make their picks to click for the match and welcome a listener to do the same. NSC Pick to Click on ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Camarena Tequila.
And it is that time of the week, time for NSC Pick to Click, brought to you by Camarena Tequila here on Robby and Rexrode. Nashville SC in action coming up on Sunday, taking on the New York Red Bulls. You can hear that on Sunday on ESPN 94.9. Pregame at 2:15. The match begins at 2:30. And the standings are as such. The listeners in full control of the competition with 8. Although I will say, Michelle Knezevic has creeped up in there with 6. So she made it close to end the regular season. The last regular season match coming up on Sunday for Nashville SC. And then we'll get into some playoff NSC Pick to Click as well. Robby with 3, Joe Rexrode with 3 as well. Rexrode, you're up first in the competition today. Your selection for NSC Pick to Click is whom?
Well, I'm going to go with a real deep cut here, guys. I think it's time to really think outside the box and go Hani Mukhtar.
Oh, wow. Really well done by you.
Did I fool you?
No, you did not.
No.
All right.
Hani Mukhtar, the selection by Joe Rexrode. I will go with CJ Sapong in this match. Got a feeling he puts one in the back of the net tonight, which leaves the door open for you, Michelle Knezevic. Who are you going to select?
Just like I picked Ryan Johansson, going back to the roots, Randall Leal. It's going to find the back of the net.
Randall Leal, the selection. By the way, we've also got some tickets to give away for this match to see Nashville SC take on New York coming up on Sunday. If you could answer our trivia question on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Remember, it must be on the text line, 615-737-1025, 1025. Nashville SC clinching another home playoff game coming up when the MLS playoffs get underway. Who did Nashville SC's first playoff win come against last year? Who did Nashville SC's first playoff win come against last year? What team did they play? If you know the answer, hit up our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. If you get it right, you can win a pair of tickets to see Nashville SC take on New York at Nissan Stadium coming up this Sunday. So hit up our text line, 615-737-1025. Joe, it's a big weekend in the sports world. You've got the Preds in action tonight, Nashville SC coming up on Sunday, obviously Tennessee and Kentucky, and the Titans and the Rams as well. Pretty good weekend for sports here locally in our area, and really interesting to see how the Titans come out on Sunday night and respond with no Derrick Henry in this game against LA.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the three of us, and I don't feel like we're really in a minority here, expect them to respond well. Now, look, I mean, they've done so much, not just in recent weeks, but also I think during Vrabel's tenure as coach in situations kind of like this, but not exactly this, that I think that's kind of built that expectation. But it's interesting to me to think about how this week has changed from mid-show Monday and, a good day of just like, total despair, right? When you lose a player like Derrick Henry to a lot more optimism here in a short period of time. So we'll see.
Yeah, I took the Rams in Pigskin Pick'em to cover the 7 points. I don't feel great about it. I really don't. I mean, this is one of those games where I've seen the Titans do this time and time again when everybody's not really giving them much of a chance. They come in, they play well. Oftentimes they win the game. I still think it's going to be really difficult for the Titans to win this game. I would have said that with Derrick Henry in the lineup as well. So, the Rams are a really good team. They got some great players on the defensive side of the ball. And you said it before the season. I wasn't as much of a believer as you were, but you're right. Matthew Stafford has made a gigantic difference for this team. And here they are among the handful of Super Bowl threats that you want to pick out of the NFC. The Rams absolutely belong in that conversation.
Yeah, they do. I think if there's one thing about this matchup that's different in a good way from the last three, we talked a little bit about it earlier. Matthew Stafford is a heck of a quarterback, incredible arm talent, very tough. He is the more stationary pocket presence. Now, that's a good offensive line. You have to get there. But if the Titans can bring their fastball with the pass rush, bring what they brought against Kansas City and that we've seen, I think, more and more, and can get to him and bother him. He's not the guy who hurts you, or that you have to worry about him breaking the pocket. Really, even like the loose plays, rolling or scrambling. I mean, he's keep him on his spot and he'll pick you apart. But affecting him to me is probably as much a key as anything in this game.
Yep, going to be a big key in this game, and it's one of those things where you look at this matchup, it sure would be nice to have Julio Jones out there. It's trending like maybe he will be, and you brought up maybe Christian Fulton. TD didn't seem to be as high on Christian Fulton as you were.
Well, he's right in terms of it would be one of those, like it isn't following the process of the return to practice and then be out there. So it's just one of those, like, just thrown out there as a possibility, as a little surprise activation. But if not, how is Chris Jackson? How is Greg Mabin? Who's after Breon Borders if those guys both can't go and neither of them has practiced this week?
Yeah, that's something really interesting to keep an eye on. Yeah, you talk about scary. Congratulations to Joey on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Correctly guessing did Miami, the first Nashville SC playoff win last year. I was there for it. It was quite a fun game. Randall Leal with an absolute rocket in that game. It's fun stuff at Nissan Stadium last year.
Yeah, heck of a run, and we're going to see if they can have another one. More expectation for one this time around.
Joe Rexrode, I'm really looking forward to Monday and you doing the show with probably 0 hours of sleep after the LA game Sunday night.
Robby, you're looking very nice in your half shirt. Kentucky blue. Hello, everybody.
Wait a minute.
There's a little
Joe.
preview.
Okay. Well, we are already talking about the fashion I'm going to bring for you on Monday.
I mean, come on, man. We both locked the Vols. If that doesn't guarantee they get crushed in this game, I don't know what does.
I know. By the way, some quick breaking news before we get out of here. Adrian Peterson is being signed to the active roster today. Don't think that's a huge surprise. This coming from Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. So not a big surprise, but Adrian Peterson looks like he'll be in there on Sunday for the Titans. That does it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back on Monday at 6 a.m. Hope everybody enjoys your weekend. Darren, Donica, Chase coming up next. This is ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There are two guys on my